He paused to look up at the Texas. Miss Fluttershy? Yes, my Bob. He bit his lip. Do you think, well, maybe, can I, can I call you Mom? Fletcher's eyes widened for a second, but then her lips curled into a sweet smile. If that is what you wish, sweetie. She leaned forward and surprised Mothwell further by kissing him lightly on the forehead. He felt a surge of motherly love pass through him. If you guys are going to be so nice to me, he muttered, I'm going to learn to control my feeding. Fletcher giggled. I'll keep that in mind. Good night, Mothball. She flapped her wings and hovered to the door. Oh, Miss Flutter! Mom? She turned back. Yes? Mothwell looked shyly down at the floor. Thanks for everything. Fletcher flashed him one last smile before closing the door and whispering, You're welcome. When she turned it around, she saw her husband sitting on the couch with his head in his hands. Her smile wavered when she noticed the sadness edge in his face. She flew over to him and gently placed her hoof on his back. Honey? Jessica looked up and smiled. Then, without saying a word, he brought her to his chest and ran his fingers through her silky mane. Fletcher didn't need to ask why he was doing this, as snaked her hooves around him while listening to his heartbeat. I can't ever lose you again, he whispered. Fletcher shook her head. You won't. He pulled away and looked at her seriously. I mean it, Fluttershy. You're the only thing in this world that keeps me sane. That's not true. What about the kids? He shook his head. You saw what happened. When I saw you kissing that stallion, it wasn't me. It was a changeling. I know that. But when I thought I had lost your love... He showed up as he caressed her face with his paw. Like the kiss could keep me sane. You're as chaotic as I am. But you... His claw moved to her face as well, and Fletcher closed her eyes as she leaned into his touch. You're the boy who brought light into my heart, who taught me to love, who showed me that there's more to life than chaos. And when I saw you die, I... She filled his eyes. He couldn't finish. Fletcher opened her eyes and reached up to touch his face. Shh, she whispered. I'm here now, and I'll never leave you again. He closed his eyes and sighed in content as he held her hoof to his face. Nor I, you. I'm not going to waste another second with you. His eyes opened again as an idea came to him. Starting right now. He snapped his fingers and the couch disappeared. The entrance hall was soon remodeled into a ballroom. The walls and floor turned gold. The chandelier above them glowed brighter than ever before, but dull enough so it didn't hurt their eyes. Discord snapped his fingers again, and the two of them were dressed in elegant attire. Fletcher gasped at the familiar golden gown embroidered in roses and vines. She lifted the skirts to find golden slippers on her hoofs. Her mane was tied into a ponytail falling loosely over her shoulder. A rose sat above her left ear. Discord wore a black tuxedo with white lining the jacket and yellow buttons to match the bow tie. Adair snapped at his fingers, and violin music started playing. Fletcher smiled at the tune. Our first date, Discord grinned. The best night of my existence. She raised her eyebrows coyly. Next for our wedding night? He shook his head. No, because that night was the night I fell in love with the most beautiful mare in the world. And to think I had the honor of kissing and dancing with her. He bowed as he held out his gloved claw. May I have that honor again? Fluttershy giggled as she placed a hoof into his claw. Always. Multiple thoughts were interrupted at the sound of violin music. Curious, he climbed out of bed and slowly opened the door. His eyes widened at the sight of Screwball's parents dancing in the middle of the entrance hall, which had been transformed into a ballroom. Fletcher's head was on Disco's chest, and he held her close as he gently twirled her around. His paw was wrapped around her tiny waist, and his claw clutched her delicate hood to keep her from falling. She was so much more than him, but for them, size didn't matter. Mothball was in awe. Even if he couldn't feel the emotion radiating off the couple, he could see in their eyes and the way they held each other that the love they shared was powerful. More than that, it was the most powerful love he had ever felt. It was no wonder his mother tried to take advantage of it. What amazed him the most was the soft look in Discord's eyes. He had never seen a Draconicus look so peaceful. Maybe Screwball was right about him not being as grumpy as he seemed. He decided to get the couple some privacy and quietly shut the door. As he crawled back into bed, his thoughts returned to his mother. He had always known his mother, and Discord had a history, but his mother had never given the details. He wondered what could have happened between them to make his mother so angry. Flashback time. Discord was young, around 14. He had really lost track of time since the awful blizzard that took his parents. Must have been at least 5 years, maybe longer. He didn't really care how long he had been wandering around aimlessly throughout the lands. All that mattered to him was finding a place to settle down. He was in the forest of black trees, almost appearing dead. Despite the lack of leaves, the branches still loomed overhead, blocking out the sun. Discord never minded the dark. He loved how chaotic and familiar it was. Anything could be hiding in the darkness, and he would spend hours guessing what it was in order to kill boredom. Discord looked down as his lion paw stepped in the puddle. He peered at his reflection and saw the gray head of a teenage colt with a black mane, a muff of white on top. His single fang had grown over the years, but it was still relatively small. His eyelids drooped over his yellow eyes with red pupils. After all, he splashed the paw with his eagle claw, his reflection rippling. Maybe he should just give up. He was never going to find a family that would accept him. He was too different. His head shot up when he heard the snap of a tree branch. He turned around. Who's there? He used his mouth to summon a weapon. I warned you. I've got a baseball bat and I'm not afraid to use it. There was a loud crack and a high-pitched screech. He turned to see a fallen tree branch, and on top of it was a strange creature he had never seen before. His parents had told him about ponies, along with all the other animals whose parts he had, and this creature had a similar shape. However, it was more distorted. His legs had holes in them like Swiss cheese. His horn was like the crooked black branch he had just fallen from. His whole wings were like a fly's, and his back was a green shell like a beetle's, and his blue hair and like a Discord made his bat ready when he saw the small fangs, in case the creature was carnivorous. The thing looked up at him with green slit eyes. It squealed and green fangs engulfed it. Discord was about to put out the fire with the hose when the creature suddenly became less deformed and more like a pony. Now it was a yellow foal with pink hair and brown eyes. Discord's jaw dropped at the display. How did you do that? The creature tilted his head, confused at his reaction. It's okay, he said, reaching out his paw. I won't hurt you. The thing looked at his paw and then into his eyes, probably deciding whether or not to trust him. After a while, it took his paw and changed back to his previous form. When he helped it to his hooves, he realized it was just as high when he was on all fours. The creature leaned in closer and squinted at him. What are you? She said in a female voice. Discord jumped back and released the thing's hoof. You're a girl? She glared at him. Of course I'm a girl, you dummy. She put her hoof to her chest, and proudly raised her head. I happen to be a princess. Discord snorted. Yeah, right. It's true. I am Princess Insigtra Arachne Chrysalis Changing the Third. Chrysalis to my friends. He blinked. Right, and I'm King Discord Q Draconicus the 55th. I'm serious, you joker. I'm heir to the changing throne. He blinked again. What's a changeling? She rolled her eyes. You really dance, aren't you? A changeling is a shapeshifter. I can turn into anything. Really? Discord said excitedly. Can you turn into a puppy? Chrysalis sighed and complied with his request, taking the form of a young Saint Bernard. Discord nodded in approval. Impressive. How about a whale? She changed again, but back to herself. Fine, I can't turn to big things yet. I'm only 12. Ah, the squirrel puffed. I can do better than that. He snapped his talons and a small pink cloud appeared, brown liquid dripping from it. Chrysalis gasped as a summoning glass filled with the liquid. He handed it to her. Go ahead, try it. She looked at him wearily. How do I know it's not poisoned? Disco dramatically put his paw to his chest. Why, Chrissy, what kind of creature do you take me for? I don't know. You haven't answered my question yet. What are you? A Jaguanaquas. Now drink the chocolate milk. She hesitantly took the glass and sipped from it. Her eyes widened in amazement. It it tastes just like love. Disco tilted his head. How do you know that? Oh, chickens feed up emotions. Love is one of them. He backed away in fright. Relax, Chrysalis assured him. It's only to gain more power if needed. We eat other stuff. You're not gonna feed off me, though, are you? Heck no. Her eyes moved to the pink cloud. How'd you do that anyway? Disco shrugged. I was born with it. Does your species do that sort of thing? He hung his head. They did. They're all gone, though. Disco could have been mistaken, but he could have sworn the change was looking at him with sympathy. You're all alone? He nodded. Do you have a place to stay? He shook his head. Then come with me back to the hive. He looked at her in surprise. Why? She shrugged. That's what friends do. Disco felt like he was going to faint. We're friends? Chrysalis held out her hoof. Sure. Why not? Her lips moved into an evil grin. Would I steer you wrong? Disco sat up in bed with a gasp. He looked down at his wife. She was turned away from him, sleeping peacefully on her side. As much as he loved watching her sleep, he needed to be alone for a bit. He teleported himself to the entrance hall and slumped on the couch. He snapped his fingers to light the fireplace and again for a glass of chocolate milk. He wished he had never met that venomous spider. If he had known her true nature back then, he would have never gone with her to the hive, let alone agreed to be her friend. He thought they had been friends, but she had betrayed him. He knew she should listen to his wife and let go of the past. But after today, the past just kept coming back to him. He remembered the anger in the queen's eyes when she had sworn he had broken her heart. It still made him shudder to think that witch had once been in love with him, and that she had removed her heart from her chest because he had broken it. Was it true? Had she really been in love with him all that time?